you can see, it's rather chilly today, and we're off to Tintern Abbey. And, Tintern Abbey, I do believe Wordsworth did a poem about it. Some long, tedious tome going on and on and on about the majesty of wreckage and other such things, isn't it? Tintern Abbey.
Romantic rubble.
Romantic rubble, that's it.
And chances are the church that we want to go to will be closed for repairs.
Oh, chances are that all the bits that are worth seeing we won't be able to get into. Oh, right, well that sounds par for the course.
In 400 yards you will have reached your destination.
Tintern Abbey. What do I know about Tintern Abbey? Well, Cistercian monastery, built off and on from the 11th century onwards, so obviously Norman, and the Normans brought these monks in and gave them lands that I do believe were probably owned by the Godwinsons. And if you know anything about British history, you'll know that Harold Godwin was King Harold, who got the arrow in the eye at the Battle of Hastings when the Normans took over. Anyway, the Normans gave all these lands here to the Cistercians. It was because they had a deal with the Pope, who would recognise William the Conqueror as the King of England. And so, one part of the deal was that he would just give huge tracts of land to the various monasteries from France. So the Cistercians came, and I'm not quite sure what their particular shtick was, but they built a magnificent abbey here, and it was all very colourful, and they did a lot about art and architecture and carvings, so it would have been a very busy place. And the monasteries in those days were not quite the sort of monastic retreats that we think of nowadays. They were administrative centres, so centres of learning. So you had scholars there, you had doctors there. And this is if you were a local peasant, you would come to the monastery and they would fix your broken limbs and apply poultices to all the bits of sores, and they would bleed you, and when they came across things they didn't quite know, they would go and check their library and see if they got any manuscripts that had come in from the Middle East or from China or all sorts of places, or they would consult various cure books that they'd been collecting and writing, and see what they could do for you, and give you a bit of tender loving care and all that sort of stuff. They'd nurse you. So they also would help the poor, which was a big thing. So there were centres of administration. They administered the land, they took in taxes, of course, but they brewed beer and wine, and were little industrial centres for the local community. And of course, this being a big one, it must have been quite a wealthy community, and it would be a place where you displayed your wealth. You'd have huge ceremonies where the local great and good could all dress up and look really important, and be viewed by the peasants, who would be awed by your majesty and your breeding and your Normanness. And all that went on until the Reformation. Henry VIII, who decided he would take all that money and put it in his own pocket, marry who he damn well pleased, and essentially rip the lid off the roof and smash the windows, take all the paintings and sculptures, melt down all the gold, and generally turn the place into a wreck. Of course, people have been saying, "Oh, it's such a romantic ruin." But just imagine what it was like originally. It would be very colourful, and all the carvings. It would have been a busy place with carving artists and music and scholarship and a bit of a hustle and bustle going around, as well as your contemplative cloisters and so on. So it would have been much more impressive before it was wrecked. Yes, it's bloody cold. Probably said that before. You can never say it enough. And so here we are. Yes, Tintern Abbey, as you can see. Big. And it must have been pretty spectacular before the Henry VIII and his mob stole the roof and took the windows and took all the gold and kicked the monks out. So it was, as you can see, quite a big and powerful affair, and I'm going to stand in the way of this person taking photos.
An artist.
What? Oh, right, there's somebody's actually painting it. We'll go and annoy them, shall we? Thought we'd come and annoy you.
Yes, I see.
Well, it's damn cold to be stood out here outside. Do you normally paint indoors, or is it you do a lot of out?
Paint outside.
Ah, right. You've got to be tough to do that.
Well, it was colder earlier on.
Yeah.
It's warming up. I think it will warm up. It was very cold.
Yes, we're great fans of the Landscape Artist of the Year. So, are you putting anything into that?
No.
No.
I don't like to be watched.
Ah.
That's a hint, Lauren.
Yes.